Hey, welcome to our episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. Kevin Burns from 𝓑𝓻𝓮𝓻𝓲𝓷 is joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And you brought the beer this time.
And we brought the beer. You know, 𝓑𝓻𝓮𝓻𝓲𝓷, we focus on New York State craft beers, so I figured I'd bring one that neither of us have tried. This is a Skunk Black IPA from Three Heads Brewing. They're a relatively new brewery. They started about December of 2010. They have 4 beers. They have a regular IPA, a black IPA, an English-style pale ale, and a coffee porter. I've had the other 3. 2 of them were incredible. One of them was pretty solid. It's 3 friends got together. They're all home brewers, and they started this brewery. Right now it's contract brewed by Custom Brew Crafters right out of Rochester, but this brewery is based in Rochester. So as soon as they get a space, they'll be brewing their own stuff. It's kind of a dark brown, blackish color.
Yeah, some ruby red.
When you hold it to the right, you get some red hues in there.
They both got a nice 2.5, 3 finger head there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's like frothy, it looks like. It's almost like a gray color, the head.
Yeah.
I can smell the hops as soon as I open the cap. And
yeah, the hops
it's a
are there.
floral hop. It's a little bit of pine. I would not call it citrusy.
You know, it's interesting because I get all of that, but usually with an IPA, when you get your pine or your floral, maybe even a little citrus, it's clear, it's crisp. Here with the black IPA, the malt kind of masks it a little bit. It's not as forward as you would think. But it comes through on the body, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's it has like a very wet kind of body.
Yes.
For an IPA.
Yes, you know.
It's not dry. It's the hops mostly come at the end.
It's definitely a dry, bitter back end. Finish. It's definitely dry, crisp. But you're right, on the body, wet's a funny term for a beer, but I think that's a great way to describe it. It's not as crisp or as dry up front. On the back end, it definitely is, but there's that malt that's playing in there. And I don't know if that's coffee. It's tough to tell because it has some elements of it, but it's subdued because it's clashing with the hops.
It tastes like crushed crystal malt.
You know, and I haven't tasted enough black IPAs to know exactly what I want out of that style. It seems like there's 2 types. Either the hops and the malt are clashing, or they're a little softer and they blend together. And I'm not sure which one.
I've had a few IPAs. I've only reviewed one on the show, but the few that I've had, they're kind of like a stout IPA hybrid where you get like that kind of roasty, kind of chocolatey taste.
Yeah, there's definitely some roasted malt in here.
I mean, this isn't as stouty as a stout, you know. It's more like a kind of clean, simple palate. You know, like there isn't a whole lot up front. The back is like a dry, but it says what was the IBU? 75.
Yeah, you can taste that. I think on the back end it's incredibly bitter. You're right. It takes on. These black IPAs, to me, I think they're still searching for their identity. I don't know if the roasted malt and the big citrus hops or floral hops work together.
Right.
It's nice. It's a nice beer. You know.
I'm starting to get what I got in the Brewdog Basho when I got down this far. Is you're getting like this solvent fusel kind of smell. You know what I mean? Almost like a gasoline you tend to get in like Russian Imperial Stouts. Not nearly that potent.
No, not nearly. You're right. There's a little bit of that. A little bit maybe molasses up front.
Yeah, molasses or brown sugar. So it's kind of like a sweet, but a mild sweetness across the front, which is like where you said like the porter characteristics, not like the more intensity of a stout. Yeah,
and I'm definitely getting some residual sugar.
Right.
You know, when you drink these beers, you get some residual sugar after we're now 6, 7, 8, 9 sips in. Some residual sugar on your your palate, almost on your teeth that you can taste.
Yeah. These black IPAs always throw me for a loop. They're difficult to rate, you know. I like next time we do this, I'm gonna like do it blindfold because I think just looking at the black body keeps throwing me off. But overall, I mean, like palate's, you know, pretty tasty. I find it's, you know, maybe 3 or 4 different notes. They're all pretty strong. It's enjoyable. It's very, very dry in the back end though. So to drink it on its own, it's like I really wish I had a hearty meal to go with this. I think I'm gonna go 7, like a B, you know, mid-80s kind of range.
I think I'm thinking, you know, low 80s, 82, 84 points. The black IPA style is definitely the judge. I think not so much for me seeing color, but for me seeing the style is, the first black IPA was only 25 years ago, but it's suffered. It's had a revival over the last 3 or 4 years. You compare that to an Abbey Ale or a Triple Ale. That the style has been, the guidelines have been established over 400 years, so I know exactly what I want. On your scale, yeah, definitely a 7. My scale's a little different. I'm thinking low 80s. It's a nice beer. It screams out for food. Mole, something with mole on it. Chili, where you have a lot of different flavors, and it'll maybe accent, bring out. It's a nice beer.
Yeah.
I'm still personally trying to get that black IPA style down pat, so it's tough, and I think it can go a lot of different ways.
Yeah, so I guess that about wraps it up for this episode of the Three Heads Brewing Skunk Black IPA. Thanks again to Kevin for coming over and providing the beer. And go check out his website and YouTube channel at 𝓑𝓻𝓮𝓬𝓲𝓷.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time, so cheers.
See you guys.